I can also send personal notes to my friends who aren't invited to the wedding. That is often done when the wedding is a small one." Was that disappointment Elizabeth heard in her voice? "Are you sorry we've decided to just have family and a few close friends?" "Not at all. It's your wedding, and you should do as you like. A large wedding can be something of a headache to plan, too." "Even more of a headache than this one?" Elizabeth asked in mock despair. "I'm afraid so, my dear," Mrs. Bates assured her. Resigned, Elizabeth picked up her next list. "What about the flowers? I've been reading everything I could find in the etiquette books, and they say a tasteful canopy of greenery is all you need for the ceremony." "For a simple home wedding, I'm sure that's true, although you'll probably want a few flower arrangements to set around." Elizabeth made a note, and then she sat back and sighed. "I wish we could just elope. Usually it's the bride who wants a lavish wedding, and the groom who wants to just run off." Yes, Elizabeth imagined most grooms were only really interested in the honeymoon. "I don't think Gideon would mind eloping either, but it's already bad enough that he's marrying a girl no one in society ever heard of. We can't give people more reason to gossip because we ran off somewhere." "I'm sure Gideon appreciates your concern for his good name," Mrs. Bates said with a tiny smile. Elizabeth returned the smile. "I'm determined not to embarrass him, at least. So what kind of flowers do you think? It won't really even be spring in March, so—" They both looked up at the sound of the front door opening. Mrs. Bates gave Elizabeth a knowing look. "That will be Gideon coming home." Elizabeth jumped up, all wedding plans forgotten, as she hurried out into the front hall to greet her intended. He was just unwrapping the scarf from around his neck when he saw her. "Darling, what a delightful surprise." A smile lit his handsome face, and Elizabeth hurried over to kiss him while Mrs. Bates couldn't see them. When he had greeted her with a proper amount of enthusiasm, she stepped back to catch her breath and allow him to remove his coat. Only then did she notice the coat itself. "What on earth are you wearing?" Gideon glanced down at the beige garment he was unbuttoning. "My new trench coat. It goes with my new trench wristwatch." He held up his left arm and shot back his cuff to reveal the wristwatch she had given him last week for Christmas. It was a replica of the ones the Army had issued to the doughboys because pocket watches weren't practical in battle, except Gideon's was made of real gold. Elizabeth frowned. "I know the soldiers wore wristwatches in the trenches, but surely they didn't wear coats like that. It really was rather hideous." "The officers did, I'm told. They're very practical. The fabric is waterproof, which must have come in handy since it rained so much in France." Gideon had been drafted too late to see any military action. "It has lots of pockets, too." "Which you can use to hold lots of legal papers, I'm sure," Elizabeth teased. Surely an attorney didn't have much use for extra pockets. Gideon grinned as he shrugged out of his trench coat. She did love his grin. "I hear they're making trench boots now, and trench hats, too. It's all the rage now that the war is over." "I wonder if they have trench wedding gowns." "Waterproof ones, no doubt. Very practical if it's a long walk to the church door." "Fortunately, I only have to walk from my bedroom to the parlor, so I don't have to worry about rain." Gideon hung up his coat and reached for her again, but his mother's voice stopped him. She had finally come out into the hallway, probably having judged that she'd given them enough time to canoodle. "I've invited Elizabeth."